Okay, we will wait for another 3 minutes. Then we'll begin the class. I hope a few of them have, are waiting to join. Fine. Okay, shall we continue the class? Sorry, shall we begin the class? I'm audible to you people?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Anyway, we people were into your module 2 of public relation subject. Fine. A few of the concepts into module 2 which were told us to do that people have already dealt. Fine. So what we people have dealt, let me brush you up within few minutes. Okay, in your previous class. Okay, in part one of your module two, we have introduced to the what do you mean by theory. We have understood about some theory, what exactly they explain to practitioners in understanding human behavior, and what communication those people have to develop, where it will be helping in reaching their public as well as guiding the organizational decision making. Fine. So also we people have discussed on certain what is meant by theory, okay, which helps in predicting how events and actions are related with each other, right? And how these theories are going to be used by a practitioner in developing a campaign and then effective communication to make it more, effective communication with certain message, fine, okay. So also we people have gone through some theories like systems theory, situational theory, and conflict theory. Okay, these are things we people have dealt. Like you say, it says something like a part of organization and public exist in relationship with each other, meaning the action of one part will be affecting the other person. Two way we people are going to find. Okay, then also we people know something about the application of this theory. Then we also discussed on closed system and open system. It depends on how much organized relies on its historical data and takes the decision, okay, on the basis of its past experience. And then also in open system we worked on taking information, okay, inputs from the publics, and then taking decision with respect to the public PR. And we also discussed on situational theory, that how people are going to act on the issues, and also depends on the situation. And basic thing, it says that that situation has to be pertaining to the public, and he or she should find that it's going to affect directly or indirectly. So some benefits the people have gone through, that how uninterested people can make them an interested one. Okay, when your public is going to be having interest or not. Okay, that. Then we went with social exchange theory, which was talking about how best, or say like a public will be always looking into minimizing the cost and as well as increasing the reward. That type of issues those people intention to take into consideration. Okay. Then we also went with the diffusion theory of 5 steps. Okay. The first 2 steps, which were having which were more influenced by the mass media, like creating awareness and increasing interest among the public to receive your message, to pay attention to that. And next two stages when it comes to evaluation, prior too much of control, personal intervention should be there in developing that those two, where evaluating it and then making them to try. Okay, the last adoption process. Then we also went with some social learning theory and elaborated likelihood theory. Okay, there are major two routes we people discussed that how any changes can be expected into human attitudes and behavior, like central route we have and then peripheral route. Okay, so these two routes were already discussed, right? Then some summary of this. Okay, for external assembly theory, you have in the further coming slides also. It will be elaborately dealt. Okay, so we have okay, now this is the stage where we people have to begin with for your part two of module two. Okay, fine. Okay, am I audible to you people?
Yes, sir. You're audible.
So we let's discuss today with theories of mass communication. Okay, there are major two theories which we people are going to discuss, like use and gratification theory and then agenda setting theory. Okay, so these theories, mass communication theories, usually helps any practitioner to understand how powerful that a media has an influence in making or building a relationship, okay, between the organization and public by use of public relation. Fine. So these theories, two things we people have to do. One, understanding the power of the media in influencing the relationship. Fine. And as well as two theories we have. We go one by one. Okay. Before going to that, let's discuss what exactly the media is. If you see any English word media, especially it has been derived from a Latin word, what is called as medius. It means that middle. So somewhere media is like a channel where any PR people are going to use to reach their public. So this will be acting like a middle man where it is going to connect both the parties, organization and the public. Right? So for our purpose, we define media as what? You take this as like all the means of communication. We say as newspapers. You take radios and TV that will be that provides the public with news, entertainment, and etc. Usually along with advertising. So this is something like where you cannot say media is a singular. We always say it as a plural one because when we were writing, we always write it as a media, right? So it means that it is a combination of any sort of source of a media, like newspaper, radio, and television. Nowadays we have a technologically developed a social platform where people are connected with each other, right? So this is what. So we have something use of gratification theory, use and gratification theory. Remember, you consider any of your targeted audience or a public, fine, and those people will be very active towards the media, and they are going to choose such a media that which will be based on the gratification. What gratification means? What is something a satisfaction or fulfillment? What those people get out of the media? Because media contains a lot of programs, right? Information which will be helping them in satisfying their needs. Okay, and it is going to fulfill the requirement of the need which a public will be having or people will be having for the purpose of inculcating that into their day-to-day life. So you should be doing always a research why your practitioners, sorry, why your particular publics use the media. So you should be very careful about understanding the reason behind choosing certain media by your public. Fine, using a media by your public and why those people do it. For that, you people have to conduct a research. There are possible way we can find a possible way of possible factors which makes any public to choose certain media. Okay, it may be because to get an entertainment or they want to have scanning the environment around them. Fine, to scan the environment for the items that are very important for them. They want to know about it. They want to discuss about it. Fine, and they want to share those information to others. Probably because of this, those people will gain interest into it. Then maybe as a diversification, want a change in their life. Okay, so they go with a different type of media to gain some knowledge. Okay, and as a substitute for personal relationships, and also to have the check on the self identity. So somewhere we people find certain human beings where they want to predict themselves with certain personality. Sometimes the programs or media those people are connected with, we people can elucidate that a type of personality what those people can possess. Fine. Then we have application for the practitioners when we go with this gratification theory. Now see this, the use of use and gratification theory helps the practitioners explain the media effects or the absence of the effects. So when we do theory, when we do research, we come to know when a media is being or say people are exposed to certain media, what is the effect of the media on the people, and in the absence of the media, what can be the effect, which you people can find, okay, in the people. So that things you people can easily understand the importance of the media, how much it is going to put or enforce the attitude or behavior of a public. Fine. And then we have the practitioners must remember that just because a message is available doesn't mean the people will pay attention and remember it. So even you should keep in the mind as a PR practitioners or responsible people when you people are have, I mean, in fact you have developed a PR program, you people want to run it, and media plays a very important role here. So the message when you people develop and you people circulate into the media, and whatever you people are thought of, getting in return. Okay, maybe the attention that you want to gain from the people and you want to make them to remember it. So that doesn't happen just by sending a message into media. There's a lot more things that you people have to do in getting the attention of the public and make them to remember it. So developing a proper effective message, finding a perfect source of media where you people can reach the people is some creative idea. Okay. Next we have some agenda setting theory. This is purely based on the assumption that although media cannot tell people what opinion those people have to hold towards the issue which has been broadcasted to them, okay, but it has influence on what issues people think about. So somewhere it says that media doesn't tell any of the or giving going through certain media, the people will never come to know what exactly those people have to think about any issue which is going to broadcast it to them over that particular screen. Okay, but it has to influence, okay, and on what type of issues those people have to think about. So somewhere the influence will be there to generate interest among the public on certain issues, the media will do it. But how it is to be done, ultimately the message and the organization has to take care of that. Fine. So the influence of agenda setting theory, which proposes that media has the potential to what one to build a issue or product awareness. Basically, media is doing that it will be just building an issue among the environment where public will give a lot of attention towards that, or some awareness issue is going to be created about any product or the issues. But remember, people will be always getting interest on certain issues to know, and they wish to say that they want to view the or want to trial the product on the basis of the authenticity what those people have attached to the media. So certain medias will give authentic information what people believe as. So even by helping a message of an organization in generating a confidence among the audience, the medias will do. Now we have something increased issue of salience. Now we say it as a noticeable one, right? Where the increased issue salience is what makes it more noticeable to the among the public or the viewers, or maybe because the way those people project it, the media project it, and repeated exposure what media gives to the public regarding certain issues can take it to the next level, like not being more noticeable. Fine. So there are some useful topologies for understanding this here. Here, one, it's a time to discuss how the practitioner's role is affected by the broad application of these public relations theories. So whatever theories that we people have we gone through, we have to see to it that how best that can help practitioners to play their role, which will be affecting the public relationship, okay, with the public. Okay. So we have next something like we will consider two major aspects here to understand this. One is the role played by the practitioners, and then we have Groening's model of public relation. Right. So we go one by one. Now we have here like practitioner's role. Now there are two major roles. Like we have a managerial role and technical or a technician role here, especially when it comes to the technicians in public relation, okay, where these people are involved into implementing the strategies which has been developed by higher authorities, and also they are responsible for undertaking the tactics of a company of a campaign, or say any PR campaign what those people are doing. uh, their major job will be there in writing a message, editing the messages, right? Taking photos to make it more, meaningful, and handling the communication production, running the events, special events, and also dealing with the media. So these technical people, technicians will be looking after into just implementation part, which has been done by implementation part, where those say the strategies or tactics which has been developed by the responsible people who sit in the top management. Fine. So when we talk about these managers, these roles are like they will be acting like a problem solvers. Okay, that uses the PR process where they are going to support and influence the goals and objectives which has been set for the organization. So these people look into developing strategies, okay, in the form of solving the problems, right? These people are responsible for that, giving the tactics or logics how best any PR campaign has to be implemented. So those will be whatever the managers gives, okay, in the form of strategy or tactics or the programs, those will be implemented by technicians. But here, majority of the risk is going to be taken by a manager in making that possible things which has to be done from the side of organization with respect to the PR activities. Right. So there are some PR manager roles, like they will be like an expert prescriber, communication facilitator, or problem solving facilitator. So there are major three roles what they are going to play as a PR manager. The first role talks about expert prescriber who works as a consultant, okay, in the form of where they are going to define a problem, means what they are going to identify the problem and make it into a workable type of information which has to be given, understandable type of information on the problem to the top management, then suggesting opinions and overseeing the implementation. So when it comes to expert part, they are the people who will be defining the problem by identifying it. They give the opinion, suggest the how best they can be implemented, and also they will be responsible for looking after the implementation part, whether it is going according to the plan or not. Okay, so this is expert prescriber role which is being played by PR managers. Fine. So we have next like communication facilitator, where we're keeping two-way communication open by spanning the boundary between the organization and its environment. They something look like a liaison officers will be like a middleman, creating a good bound between the organization and the external environment. The external environment includes almost all the stakeholders who will be affecting the organization, maybe in the form of customers, suppliers, government agencies, okay, advisory committees, and etc. Okay, so here as a communication facilitator, a PR manager role is to have two-way open communication, where they will be working on that. So next we have like problem solving facilitator who works as a partner with the senior management to identify and solve the problems. Here somewhere for the top management, they give an opinion as the people who is the expert prescriber role, they give suggest opinion. Okay, and even on the implementation part also in solving the problems, so defining the problems. Here when it comes to problem solving facilitator role of a PR manager, okay, public relation manager, here he will be having a role as a partner into the senior management team, and he will be helping them in identifying the problem and any related solutions which should be given for the PR. Okay, problems. Okay, we have certain models of public relation here, where we people are going to use major four type of public relation models, which has been developed by Jim Gugin, and to understand these very key or important aspects of PR. Okay, and how these all are related to each other. Okay, these models are purely based on two things you have to keep in the mind. One, the concept of communication and the concept of research. So these two things has to be there if you want to understand these models, and purely it is based on these two. Okay, so we have something like a press agentry model, then we have public information model, then we have two-way symmetric model, and then we have a two-way symmetric model. So out of these four, let's begin with the first one, like press agentry model we have. Now here, remember, this is a one-way movement of information from the organized public. Here, we also can say it as a communication, one-way communication, where information whichever has to be sent to the public, the organization will send it. But the effect of that, they never try to know it, or neither any public will be having a supporting channel where you can reach the organization with the doubts, right? Or maybe with the opinions that public is having towards the organization, right? So here, somewhere like as I told you, the practitioners hold to a one-way movement of information from the organization to its public, and this we consider very oldest form of public relation, okay, and relies on the persuasion more. So ultimately, the information which has been sent to a public from the organization, especially in press agentry model, and when we take one-way movement of information, it is purely meant to persuade them to create or have some sort of behavior or attitude towards the organization. Okay, but remember in this, the Dugin's model, the intention often is to devise or the receiver on some level of manipulative process. Especially this type of thing, they say it as misleading type of a problem can raise, where the organization will never try to know what has happened after communicating the message to them. Their intention is that just to persuade the public or target audience to have certain sort of ultimate behavioral change towards the organization. And manipulation happens a lot here. I'm audible to you people?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So we have second type of model of a public relations. The first one we have public, as we people have discussed, the press agency model. The second one we have public information model. Here, even this is also a type of one-way movement of information, similar to the press agency model, one way. But thing is, the small difference. What happens here is, here the intention is to inform rather than pressing upon the promotion and the publicity. Here, persuasion is not much taken into consideration once one-way communication has been done. Their duty, especially of a PR people, if they're using this public information model, they just want to inform about certain issues, okay, to the related public or targeted audience who are interested among the organization and the related issues of the organization. Okay, so here in this model, no persuasion comes, or either those people go with the promotion or a publicity of the organization. Especially these type of models are being used by a government or an educational institutions, and also not for profit organization. Okay, the difference between this public information model and the press agency model is the idea or objective of persuading the public on the basis of one-way communication. There, in press agency model, one-way communication happens, but for persuasion purpose. Here, in this one-way, a movement of information is going to happen for the purpose of just sake of providing an information on any issues or activities of the organization to the public. Then we have two-way asymmetric model. Here, especially, this is a type of model which has been more used into social science of research. okay, to persuade in a two-way exchange of information. Here, two-way itself says that both the parties will be having uh, intention of speaking with each other, okay, on the issue, what to transfer the information. The discussion will happen with one or the other platform those people are going to use for communication, okay, between them. So this includes the use of surveys, interviews, and focus groups, because as I told you, people, these models of PR relies on the research and the communication. So here, communication is two-way, and the research we people are going to conduct like we are going to use surveys, interviews, and focus group to collect the information, okay, or discuss on the issues. So this model is more interested in influencing public about the company than influencing the company. So here somewhere this two-way is symmetric model usually influence the public, okay, with certain attitude or behavior towards the organization, and to think and remember, also discuss about the issues which has been informed to them. Okay, so we have two-way symmetric model. Um, Here in this, organization usually seeks to have a mutual type of understanding between the public and the organization, and also influences with its public rather than one-way persuasion. Here, both organization as well as public both are going to get influenced by a type of communication happens between both of them. Fine. One sends the information, then on the information the discussion will happen, and then later on the other opposite party will be giving a lot of opinion on the information received by them. So here the organization and the public just to okay, the organization and the public just to one another they are going to have influence. Okay, fine. So we have something like a new model of symmetry. Those are four models which we people have discussed with respect to PR. Fine. So we have next something like a new model of symmetry which was been developed in 1995, and also we say it as a new model of public relation. So this model is also known as model of symmetry as two-way practice. So similar to the previous models, we say it as it is something wider in the scope, and the improvement which has been done into the two-way model practice. Now in this model, usually the public and the organizations are on a continuum, or we say it as a range or a band. So it is something continuously those people are in touch with each other, okay, and the frequency you take or the range what or band what those people have is going to be constant and continuing all the time. So these practitioners of PR will be using both the two-way, asymmetric model, and then two-way asymmetric model also whenever it is needed. So there's no hard and fast rule. They are going to use the same. Depends on the situation if they want to have this two-way asymmetric model or two-way symmetric model. Depends on the situation which is bargaining them to adapt for this PR relation, right, or programs. Then the organization and the public seeks to persuade each other as much as possible. Here we have complete authority of a public also to indulge into a good discussion of the organization. So somewhere both will be persuading each other. You can expect influence will be there on public as well as the influence will be there on the organization also. Right? Depends on the the communication practice which happens between both the parties as a organization and as a say public or a target audience. Okay, when you are developing these models of public relation, you have to keep in mind that two new models have been developed that fall into the asymmetrical type of communication category. So we have one, the cultural interpreter model, and then we have personal influence model. Especially this type of cultural interpreter model, we people are going to use, okay, when any companies go abroad, okay, overseas to develop their business, fine. So especially this is going to apply to such those companies which are going to do their business in different countries, and they need to be very cognizant, like we said, is aware of the type of language which are used into those countries, the cultures associated with the country, the customs, and then the political systems of those countries. On that basis, that you people can develop a PR program. Then we have something like personal influence model, where which is going to apply to the practitioners who try to develop personal relationships with key individuals who can then be contacted as and when it is needed for the practitioner. Right? So this is about personal influence model where practitioners they themselves will adopt it and just have a proper contact with the key individuals who are affecting the PR program and which are very prominent sometimes enough in dealing with the issues into the organizations where he can rely on those type of people in getting some information how best any issues can be resolved in the organization. So as and when it is required any information from those people due to that requirement, those people keep a good relationship with those key people in the environment. So we have something next like conflict resolution approaches. We have like any conflict may arise because when we talk about the relationship, a relationship sometimes can mean mislead or it can sometimes lead to the conflicts directly. Fine. So here this conflict involves an individual or maybe a group actively they are going to oppose each other one another, fine, because of the differences what those people find between them on the basis of values and the goals those people have for any sort of task or any sort of issue. Okay, on that basis the problem is going to be raised. Okay, we say it as a conflict between those two people. So there are four type of conflict resolution elements that you people have to keep in the mind as a practitioners. If any conflict raises, these four things can be used. Okay, one we have separate the people from the problem. Best thing that avoid people falling into the problem and indulge into the problem and speaking on that. Or some second we say it as focus on the interest, not on the position. What is happening presently with the problem is not important, but what is the focus behind to solve the problem and go against the crisis. Then we have invent opinions for mutual gain. If problem cannot be solved on those is two what we have discussed further. I mean previously. Now probably to invent opinion of mutual gain talks about both the parties will come together and they discuss on what can be the best possible solution on the basis of mutual understanding between both of them will get a win-win type of situation. Okay. Then we have like insist on objective criteria. So it says that you let it the PR program or any sort of program should be there within the scope. So if it goes out of the scope, probably there may be a chances that the crisis can happen, the conflicts can happen. It says stress more on the objective standard rather than any subjective discussion on the problems related to the organization and the public relation. Then we have cognition and behavior. Okay, wait. Before we further move to this, any doubts that you people have?
No, sir.
Okay, fine. So we have next something like cognition and also we have a behavior. When we talk about this cognitive theory, this will be helping any practitioners to deal with the thought process. Okay, but behavioral theories always deals with the action. So cognitive is something like principles which has been derived on the basis of an experience of the experts. They say and people think much on that, but especially behavioral theories, they directly leads to the actions. So here we have something like public relations. Practitioners find it very useful to think about the effects, how its client's behavior affect the others. So it's very important for any PR practitioners or any managers to find that okay, how it is useful that they are going to think about the effects that any one individual client behavior can will be affecting the others into the industry or the environment. When we have these practitioners know the words and actions which are given personalized meaning by the others, and sometimes these meanings whatever is being given by those public, okay, on the words or any actions which is being done by the responsible people of public relation programs, okay, they can go to a mislead also. So this can be misunderstood. Okay, sometimes what happens in meaning is not what was intention of the PR to tell. So you should be very careful enough in drafting the words and showing your action towards the public, especially when you people are developing a good relationship with the public. So you have to have a very consciousness when you're using the words and when you people are exhibiting the action. Okay, your intention as a PR practitioner may be something else, and I think because of misunderstanding, maybe the what we say, like, the meaning which has been given by the public to the words that people have spoke to them, the action what the people have executed, sometimes it may be something else also. Fine. So the practitioner seeks to influence his or her public and the public's interpretations to accurately reflect the original intention. So you should be very careful enough as a practitioner. Whatever you people speak to the public and the action you people do, see to it that they have to see or understand in the same way that your intention was to communicate to them. These are things we people have already discussed in your previous class, where the theories of theory like action assembly theory, which we people have discussed now, but the social exchange theory or the diffusion theory, social learning theory, and elaborated likelihood theory has been already discussed. So there are another one theory which we people have to discuss is like action assembly theory, which comes under theories of cognition and behavior. You people can write these things also, right, as a behavior or cognition theories. Here, in this, usually any PR practitioner will be learning that how human beings thinks and behaves. We will look especially into these four theories, okay, which will be helping you people understand thinking of humans and then how they are going to behave. So one thing which we people have to discuss is on action assembly theory, where people filter the information through their own personal values and the expectation what those people have towards any sensitive, okay, issues, and they're going to retain them. Okay, on that basis, what appears to be worthwhile to those people, they are going to keep in the mind. So especially uh, whatever information is furnished to, say, to the target audience or the public, they keep only those things in their mind which are valuable to them. So worth what they say, that is keeping those things into the mind and discussing them into with the others. So what they do, especially action assembly theory, they just filter the information which has been given to them on the basis of the value what they have for their own and expectation what those people have, and then they want to have very selective in retaining or keeping an information into their mind, right? And then we have something to understand someone's human behavior. It must be realized that it seems to be very logical to the person exhibiting the behavior. Now, it's so not so even easy also for any practitioner of a PR to understand human behavior, somebody else's behavior. It's very difficult, but some amount of say percentage which can be predicted on the basis of his knowledge and experience. Okay, it is very logical. We say always logical to think about you know um, about the any someone any personal behavior of somebody else who is in one or the other way related to the organization. Fine. There are major three constructs through which we people can say that to understand a human behavior, and if you want to try to understand this human behavior, you people have to think first. You have to have an idea that how people think. So we say thinking can be explained at a very abstract level by three major constructs how people think. One, on the basis of cognitive structures and cognitive content, and then cognitive process. Fine. So when we talk about this cognitive structure, it is purely defining that the form of our thought, our expectations, and affects how we process and store the information. This purely talks about our own thoughts, which we people have from the birth, we say. On the basis of that, we people are going to have certain expectations towards the a process or a storing information. Fine. So my storing of information is purely is affected by my own expectations also, right? What I actually expect from a media or say from the PR people, if that I get it, I store it. Otherwise, the things which are not interested to me, and which are not related if I feel it as, and they are away from my expectations, so I don't keep it. So this is what it talks about cognitive structure. Then when we talk about this cognitive content, here this is what we have, something like, and a need, we say, the requirement for a specific type of information or the details which we people are interested in knowing, okay, and also we say within the basic cognitive structure. So here somewhere the cognitive structure can also affect in understanding what specific information that we are interested, and we are going to have details about that. Okay, that we people find it into a cognitive content. So when we talk about these cognitive processes, then this talks about how we take in, transform, and store the information. So whatever the information has been collected from, collected, by any public on the basis of their expectation, and what type of specific information they have interested into knowing it, and also it depends on how those people are going to keep in the mind on the basis of how they process it, okay, or how they transform it, and related one they keep in the mind, and rest those people are going to omit it or discard it. Okay, so how this action assembly theory works. Here it is something like, through observation, you say, people begin to expect that, certain action will result in predictable outcomes in similar type of situations. Now, this purely depends on the type of belief those people have, experience those people have, okay, from the past. They have seen a type of situations which may be prevailing, similar to an existing one, fine, and because of that, those people say that through the observation, then people begin to expect a certain type of actions, which they say that it is going to once again come in the same form, in the same form as an output, and those people have predicted that this similar situation can also happen again and again. So here we have something habitual expectations. We have, like, they are going to be developed about some actions or outcomes, and then we have expectation can also become so strong for any people that they may fail sometimes to notice when the action or say outcomes vary from what you expect to see. Sometimes too much of expectation due to their what we say, experience. If any similar type of actions has happened and they say it's okay, same it is, because they fall into such a dilemma that they never notice what minute variations are going to happen in that. So you can utilize it and make them properly as a peer, professional. Okay, then relationship with the, here we have a moderator develops a certain expectation about the bulls, right? Here he knows that, how he shows that, red cloth, and he will be an expectation what speed it can come after 2 or 3 type of, trials. Will come to know that what can be the predicted behavior that a bull can show towards the act. Fine. At the end, we have something application of this action assembly theory where we are going to apply it. Where you take any PR practitioners should be having a decision on, if they should tap, say, into their public existing memory structure, and or try to establish a reinforce entirely new one. Okay, so they want to keep something before, and you say I mean pre. Sorry. Okay, am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So, application of this, once again we start. Application of this action assembly theory. Usually, it is been used by practitioners, which are going to decide upon, how to tap a public's existing memory structure. How best those people can find a way of, changing or reinforcing something entirely new one into the mind of public regarding the organizational issues. Fine, or an expectation of what a public is having towards the organization. Then we have example like, to avoid being ignored, put, vital, concurrence, then where your public looks for important, facts. So see to it that, where you people can find more attention that public is given. Okay, and if they give more attention in those places to people can have, you are tapping an idea. Okay, and that is a place where people can put certain nodes of an information where those people can retain your information in their mind for a long time, such as in employee pay packets instead of on the company's bulletin board. So somewhere even employees play a very important role, fine, in helping you people to execute this type of action as on this day. Okay, so this completes your module 2. Fine, these are certain, we have n number of the theories and models. Please go through it. They are very simple, and you people can even understand it better also. Have any problems, you people can get back to me in your next class. Fine. Okay, any doubts that you people have till here?
No, sir.